What is going on, ladies and gents, and welcome back to another video. Today we are checking out Ultramarines explained by an Australian. So Major Kill just dropped this video a few days ago and I thought I'd react to it because obviously you guys like it, I like it. Ultramarines are cool, and I haven't really done too much on Ultramarines. I know we checked out like Exploring series and we've checked out like the Realm of Ultramar or something like that, but you know, I want to find out some more about Ultramarines and I want to laugh. So Major Kill is our guy. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. If you want to be an honourable battle brother like our Ultramarines. If you don't subscribe, you're just not an honourable battle brother and, you know, you're part of the Tau. So take that as you will. Anyway, we're going to get into this video. Hopefully it's funny and informative at the same time. So yeah, let's go. Just quickly before we get into this, I want to make a quick announcement to say about Sisters of Battle or Sisters of Battle in the Age of Apostasy by Arch. I'm not reacting to it. I reacted to the first 36 minutes of it in 2 parts, and he did not mention the Sisters of Battle once, and I just can't be asked for that. I can't be asked. The videos were not going to be entertaining to watch, so that won't be being released. If you want a Sisters of Battle video, please suggest me a different one that's kind of shorter and more concise, and where some Arch doesn't go on for about 40 minutes without actually mentioning them once. So yeah, just want to say that. Hope you enjoy this.
You get when you combine money, plot armor, the color blue, but definitely not ultramarine blue, and repetitive bad jokes about Smurfs that weren't even funny to begin with.
I agree.
That's right, kids, you get the Ultramarines, the greatest marines in the galaxy. Logic and reason tremble before the might of Cornelius Calgar and his very large fist. The Ultramarines are so great that even when they lose, they still win.
What?
I have an Ultramarine live with me now in the studio. What's it like being an Ultramarine at Lego Tartia?
My man said, even when they lose, they still win. That's like that stupid Anchorman joke.
They've done studies, you know. 60% of the time, it works every time.
Artists.
It's pretty great.
That's what I thought. G'day, guys and gal. This video was a long time coming, but you know me, we like to do things a bit differently on this channel. It's always important to me to come up with fresh, exciting gags while avoiding the obvious ones. Hence, no Ultramarine in this video will be referred to as a Smurf or as Papa Smurf, as those jokes are actually quite shit and were never funny to begin with.
I 100% agree.
Instead, we'll poke fun of them in other ways, such as their fetish for Rome or the fact that they hilariously try to pretend they are less autistic than all the other Space Marines. That, or the idea of some old grumpy arsehole is able to swing around a big-ass necron pylon like a baseball bat, or beat an avatar of God of War in single combat. Jesus Christ, Marnelius isn't even a cool name. Despite my rantings, I will do my best to explain the entire lore and story of the Ultramarines over the next couple of videos, as well as their surprisingly cool Primarch, Rub Me Off Gull, my man. We will look at their origins as well as what they were up to during the Great Crusade, as well as the Horus Heresy. Let's get into it.
It's roboute, guilliman. How dare you disrespect the most honourable of all honourable battle brothers.
When the Emperor decided he wanted to spank the galaxy into submission, he realized he needed the help of 20 or so demigod children, so he threw a couple...
Hold on, do you think I can now identify these all? I know I say it every time, but you know, I'm gonna try this time. Alright, I'm gonna start here. This is Rogel Dawn, alright? This is Lionel Johnson. This is Jagatai Khan, alright? This is gotta be Lehman Russ. This is Bobby G. This is Sanguinius. This is Vulcan, obviously. Now, who are the other 2 loyalist Primarchs? One of these is Ferrus Manus. And the other one is... God damn it. God damn it, what's his name? I don't know. Anyway, let's move on to traitors. Horus, Fulgrim. I think that's Perturabo. No, that's Lorgar. That's Conrad. That's Magnus. That's Angron. One of these is Mortarion. Is this Mortarion? I think this is Mortarion. And is this Alfarius or Omegon, or Alfarius and Omegon or whatever? Which loyalist Primarch am I missing? Oh, I'm missing Corvus. This is Corvus. This is Corvus. And this is obviously Lionel Johnson. I said he was like... I'm an idiot. This is Lionel Johnson. This is Corvus. Who is the... This is the guy I didn't name. Wait, one of these is Corvus. God damn. No, this is Ferrus Manus, this is Corvus. Okay, got it.
Shady deals with some very questionable characters that Big E jizzed into a bottle and made his children. Now Chaos wasn't super keen on getting spanked, so it yeeted the babies, called Primarchs, across the galaxy. Some Primarchs landed on really nice planets and lived privileged lives as white rich kids, and some Primarchs landed on shitty planets and got
Oh, come on, man. Come on. No, you can't do that. What's this kid doing? Why is he throwing a rock? What's he doing?
Robert Baratheon was the former, as he landed
Robert
on Karoud, a reasonably primitive world, but at least it got sunshine and no brain nails. It also had limited space travel, which meant that it wasn't full of superstitious cultists who praised gods that were most likely just hidden chaos. What I'm trying to say is that Gorilla Mum had it good, and he made it even better. Quickly maturing, this handsome man took control of Macragge and brought upon a new age of order and prosperity, all the while not becoming a furry or fucking anyone's dog. The glorious man's father was also a pretty solid dude, attempting to give more power to the middle class and less to the aristocrats. However, this resulted in a civil war within the capital of Macragge, whilst Roboute was wrecking some scrubs somewhere else. In the chaos, the big ass father was killed, and G-Man went into a cold rage, massacring and executing the rebels and assuming leadership over Macragge. Over the next 5 years, Macragge and the local star systems flourished under the leadership of its new benevolent Aryan overlord, until the Big E came knocking. Big E was like, "Yo son, this is pretty dope, well done. Now come with me to find some big titty elder girlfriends." And Girly Man was like, titties. Hence he assumed the command of the 13th Legion seamlessly. And so began an era of ridiculously overpowered Ultramarines who were blue, but ironically not ultramarine blue. Unsurprisingly, the Ultramarines gene seed was considered extremely stable upon its creation, and its recipients showed no unacceptable mutations because they inherited the Big E's greatest attributes: plot armor and steady sails. They were pretty boring in the early days of the Imperium, as they just kinda tagged along on campaigns, pacifying worlds whilst displaying their usual poster boy personas of being not completely fucked in the head. They did show high aptitude for adaptation and imitation of enemy tactics, however. These versatilities were mocked by some of the other legions, who saw using tactics learned off lesser enemies to be, I quote, pretty gay. Amazingly, the Ultramarines did suffer one defeat before they reunited with their Primarch. A bunch of planets who seemed chill were suddenly not chill and rebelled against the Imperium. The 13th Legion, aka our boys in blue, was sent to give them a spanking, and easily broke through their defenses and landed upon the planet. They quickly realized, however, that something was very wrong, as the entire population of the planet attacked them like a zombie horde, piling on and burying numerous Marines. Oh, I just vomited in my mouth, that was disgusting. Sorry. As this occurred, an unknown Xeno force attacked the fleet, causing massive destruction in this apocalyptic attack. The Ultramarines suffered only like 6,000 casualties or some shit, which was like less than 1/5 of their army and only 1/5 of their ships, which is...
That's still a lot. Like, what the hell? 6,000 Ultramarines. Rest in peace. Is this Tyranids?
Fuck all. The Legion were soon reunited with their Primarch and grew to become the largest of the Space Marine legions due to their highly structured, low casualty policies and stable gene seed. Also, the fact that they never really lost helps. The Ultramarines soon expanded their core territory to around 500 worlds, naming this region Ultramar. Makes sense. Each Primarch embodied a distinct characteristic of their father, the Big E. Some Primarchs have his strength, while others have his psychic abilities. Well, the Big G inherited the Big E's supreme level of organizational skills and strategy, which when you compare it to Vulcan's immortality, Magnus's magical powers, the Khan's blinding speed, or Mortarion's durability, it seems a bit shit.
It does, it really does. I mean, Vulcan can just respawn, Magnus can use basically magic, and everyone has some cool power, and this guy's power is organization. I mean, it's still pretty good, because like he has like over that many worlds in his goddamn empire, so...
In the entire universe, who has the ability to think rationally, makes a Guilliman arguably the greatest Primarch to ever live, other than Sanguinius, of course. Guilliman was a master strategist, with Corax even stating, the Raven Guard could beat the Ultramarines in a singular battle, but Guilliman would always win the war. which isn't saying much considering the Raven Guard had been fucked in the ass by everyone and their mothers, but you get the point. However, despite his Legion's success and legend, they were still salty about that one small defeat they suffered to those random Xenos some years ago. Row your gulls man was sick of his son sulking.
I knew that was coming.
Say that quick, sick of his son sulking. So he decided he would find those Xenos and genocide the shit out of them. See, whilst RG was chilled at some Xenos, you know, if they didn't have titties, they were to be destroyed. And these fuckers definitely did not have any titties. The battle was intense as shit, as the weird-ass hentai water vapor Xenos mind-controlled orcs to fight their battle for them. Eventually, Guilliman himself confronted the Xeno leader, who was a gigantic blob of tentacles. It was a genuine Dark Souls boss, and Lord of Ultramar cleaved it, tentacle by tentacle, before performing a serious fatality on the thing, ripping its brain out and stomping on it. This badass act destroyed the rest of the Xenos, and got the Ultramarines their vengeance for like their only loss ever. Things were going swell. The Imperium was overpowered and everything they came across got their urethras fisted before the glorious might of the Emperor and his legions. Eventually a powerful threat emerged in the form of a massive fuck-off Wah! On the planet of Eleanor, which took
Wah! That's my first. I love that shit, bro. That shit is hilarious.
the combined effort of 100,000 Space Marines and 8 million Guardsmen, as well as multiple Primarchs and the Emperor to beat. I don't want to sound like a downer, but just over 8 million warriors to take out the largest Orc army ever recorded doesn't seem like much. Humanity tomorrow could muster an army in the hundreds of millions if we needed to, so it just seems like another situation of Games Workshop really fucking up their numbers. The Orcs are beaten, and Daddy's favourite son Horus becomes the War Master of the Imperium, a decision that Gizzle was fine with and offered no resentment towards, even though Horus thought he did. Likely due to Horus's stat as an insecure bold cunt compared to Chad Gulliman with his superior Aryan genes. As we know, Horus's autism caught up with him and he declared jihad upon the Emperor. However, he knew the Ultramarines' ultra levels of cheese would be a massive problem for him if he wanted to beat the Imperium. Hence, before activating his trap card in the form of Istvan Dropsite Massacre, he formulated a plan with Lorgar on how to deal with them. See, Lorgar, another notorious bold cunt, had a tough pick with the blue G. Due to Lorgar being an annoying choir kid, the Big E psychically raped him and his sons and nuked their favourite city whilst the Ultramarines watched on. The Kitty Fiddlers attacked the Ultramarine planet of Kalth and massacred the Ultramarines there, pushing them back greatly until Daddy G arrives and brings down the pain train against those pedophilic cunts, scattering the word bearers off. However, the damage was done. Using dank-ass voodoo, the word bearers had created a warp storm so massive that it blocked the Ultramarines from reaching Terror in time for the final battle. Not to mention the casualty toll for the Ultramarines was nearly 150,000, which made the random Xeno attack look like nothing. Had the Ultramarines been present at Terror when the Big E fought Horus, it is very likely the Big E would have survived due to the Loyalists dominating the traitors. Remember, the Ultramarines were the largest legion in the galaxy. Well, at least they were until Lorgar happened. Guilliman was one of, if not the greatest commander there was. However, they could not make it in time, so Guilliman instead decided that massacring Lorgar and Angron would be a suitable alternative. He gathered what ships he could and chased the Wordbearer fleet, which had met up with the World Eaters. Despite having damaged weaker ships, Guilliman's nerd boner for warfare shone through, and he first destroyed Lorgar's capital ship, allowing him and his sons to land directly upon the planet's surface and go to town. It's important to note that this battle was disgustingly vicious, as both sides fought with utter...
I reacted to this, right? This trailer. Now I know who they're fighting. They're fighting Angron's boys, right? World Eaters.
Hatred for each other. Eventually, Guilliman found Lorgar and the two Primarchs fought. Guilliman landed an uppercut so hard it made Lorgar's chest explode and punctured his lungs, shattering his ribcage, which Lorgar matched with a mace to G-Man's head, cracking his skull open and tearing off half his face. Angron joined the duel, and now Guilliman had to fight him instead. Yeah, we give our big blue man a lot of shit for being a nerd, but he was able to survive against Angron despite missing half his face and already fighting another Primarch. Angron went batshit crazy, so Lorgar turned him into a demon prince. Fair enough. Guilliman, seeing that he would not be able to fight a gigantic fucking demon, decided that he had done enough and yeeted out of there. With the warp storm cutting the galaxy in half and preventing any form of travel or communications, Guilliman assumed the worst, that his father was dead and Terra taken. So he set up Imperius Secundus, which is just a fancy Roman way of saying Imperium 2.0. He then fired the Pharos, a mini version of the Astronomicon, which also ended up bringing the Tyranids to the Milky Way, but
nice.
we don't talk about that. The Pharos guided Sanguinius as well as the Lion to Macragge, where the three Primarchs hugged it out and tried to figure out how to build another Imperium. Then Conrad arrived and caused quite the mess of things. However,
God damn it, Conrad.
made the Lion realize something. For Conrad's vision of his own death at the hands of an assassin sent by the Emperor to come true, the Emperor must be alive. Sanguinius was like, holy shit bro, you're right! The three Primarchs awkwardly pretended like Imperius Secundus never existed, and made their way through the massive warp storm to try to get to Terra. They were blocked by the traitor fleets, however through Guilliman and Lion's efforts, Sanguinius and the Blood Angels were able to get to Terra in time for the battle. Guilliman and the rest of the Loyalists eventually were able to penetrate the traitor blockade and arrive at Terra, but it was too late.
On, son.
The Biggie had become a quadriplegic skeleton. It wasn't, however, too late to clap some cheeks, as the Ultramarines began to purge the galaxy, massacring and driving off the traitor legions until they were confined to the Eye of Terror. Guilliman then split the legions into 1,000-man strong chapters, so there could never again be another heresy on such a scale. This got Rogel's Russells all jimmied, and it was almost another civil war. However, for once people were like, wow, that would be a really, really stupid thing to do. Hence Rogel allowed the division of his legion. Guilliman became Lord Regent of the Imperium, and basically held it together, as his brothers began vanishing one by one, until he himself was impaled through the throat by a demon Prince Fulgrim's knife. I know this sounds like an innuendo for a blowjob gone wrong, especially since it was Fulgrim's hentai snake body which did it. However, that was not the case this time. Guilliman was put in stasis and interred into a throne, where he's been waiting until the plot required him again. And that does us for today, guys. But Magical, that isn't the entire plot and lore of the Ultramarines. You haven't covered the 10,000 years since Guilliman went into a coma, or since his awakening. Shut the fuck up, Timmy. Look, the Ultramarines have a shitload of content, because as stated, they make a shitload of money for Games Workshop. As such, we can either make this video 40 minutes long,
no
read
thanks.
it like a wiki page, or we can break the Ultramarines lore down into sections. The better this video does, the more sections that will involve.
Nice.
In the next Ultramarine video, I want to cover the Ultramarines dealing with the Necrons and Tyranids, as well as the new plot progression caused by didn't say it, by G-Man's resurrection. If you enjoy my videos, then please consider jumping on Patreon. It only costs $1 to get access to shitloads of hentai, and I'm so demonetized right now. If you want to chat shit and play games, then Discord is the place to be. Links will be in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Alright, that was interesting, man. The Ultramarines. We kind of knew a lot of that, to be fair. Kind of knew a lot of that already. It's always nice to get a bit more of an overview on what happens, you know, and stuff like that. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, my reaction, be sure to subscribe. Go subscribe to Major Kill 2 if you haven't already. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Just quickly before we get into this, I want to make a quick announcement to say about Sisters of Battle, or Sisters of Battle in the Age of Apostasy by Arch. I'm not reacting to it. I reacted to the first 36 minutes of it in 2 parts, and he did not mention the Sisters of Battle once, and I just can't be asked for that. I can't be asked. The videos were not going to be entertaining to watch, so that won't be being released. If you want a Sisters of Battle video, please suggest me a different one that's kind of shorter and more concise, and where some Arch doesn't go on for about 40 minutes without actually mentioning them once. So yeah, just want to say that. Hope you enjoyed this. Let's go.